Hello, my GMs. Welcome to the PSHL 2 2024 Draft Lottery Show. This is your Commissioner Scott Schaefer here. Welcome to the broadcast. Good luck to all the teams involved in the draft lottery. As you can see on the screen there, Chicago Blackhawks have 3 shots at winning this lottery. Just a little bit of breakdown again on how this lottery works. It's changed in the NHL over the last couple of years. Um, Instead of deciding the top 3 spots, now it only decides the top 2 spots. So 2 teams, quote unquote, win the lottery, which allows them to move up 10 slots. So let's say, for instance, Toronto were to win the lottery, they would only move up 10 spots. They wouldn't move up into the number 1 slot. So only teams in the top 10 positions could actually win the first overall pick. So as you see, Seattle Kraken, who finished with the worst record in the league, have the best odds at the number 1 overall pick. What makes this draft interesting is there's not really a clear-cut number 1. There's no Connor Bedard this time. St. Louis Blues won the draft lottery last season to have the right to draft Bedard. This year's not really a clear-cut number 1. It's a very deep draft. So um, I think that whoever wins the number 1 pick is going to have a tough decision on who they're going to take. But the teams that don't win this number 1 pick are still going to get a pretty good player out of this. So I know I compiled my draft list already in game, and I had my draft list just for the first day is like 80 long of players that I want to draft. So that means I'm going to get a good player somewhere at least in the 3rd round and probably the 4th round as well. So it's going to be a deep draft. It's going to be a lot of pro players being selected even in the later rounds. So uh, again, the draft for rounds 1 through 4, the live version is Sunday at noon Eastern, and we will go until those 4 rounds are complete. So on average, it's been taking a little over 4 hours. So if you could make the draft, great. If you're not able to make it, you can export a draft list in game, rank your players, and export. Just let me know ahead of time so we're not pinging you left and right to try and get you just to make your pick when your pick's up. We'll just go right to the list if that's the way you're going to go. If you don't show up for the draft and you don't submit a list and your team gets autoed, you will not get the activity points for that day. So um, just make sure you're prepared, and even if you're not going to be there or submit a list, just make sure you let me know. So it just keeps the draft moving a lot smoother. The longer we have to wait to see if someone's going to show up, I give them 2 or 3 chances of pinging them, and if they don't show up, then we move on. So if someone's autoed in, say, the 1st round, they're going to continue to be autoed the rest of the way until they show up and let me know, hey, I'm back. And they're going to make their picks live. So if you guys got any questions on how the draft works, make sure to let me know. A lot of you guys I know are in the PSHL draft already and are familiar with how it works. But again, because we're doing 4 hours in one day, we want it to move as quickly as possible, so we're not taking up you guys' whole Sunday. So, and the rounds 5 through 7 will be only in-game lists and will be ran on Tuesdays. So you'll have a couple days to compile your lists. After day 1, a new file will be released, and then you guys can work on your draft lists. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and do this draft lottery. We'll go starting from 16 and then up to number 1. So as soon as you see a slot that is not a team, say the Islanders in 16, you're going to know right off the bat that that team is one of those 2 lottery winners, and we'll get either the 1st or 2nd pick, or they'll move up 10 slots, like I explained. So good luck to everybody, and here we go. With the 16th pick in the 2024 PSHL 2 draft, this pick belongs to the New York Islanders. So the Islanders retain that number 16 pick in the draft. With the number 15 pick in the 2024 PSHL 2 draft, this pick will belong to Chicago Blackhawks. So the Blackhawks also do not win the lottery with this selection, and they retain that 15th pick overall. With the 14th pick in the 2024 PSHL 2 draft, this pick belongs to the Toronto Maple Leafs. So the Maple Leafs, no luck there. They will retain that 14th pick in the 2024 draft. With the 13th pick in the 2024 PSHL 2 draft, this pick belongs to Ottawa Senators. So the Senators will be drafting with the 13th overall pick. With the 12th overall pick in the 2024 PSHL 2 draft, this pick will belong to Chicago Blackhawks. The Blackhawks get their second of 3 top 16 picks and will draft 12th overall in the 2024 draft. With the 11th pick, so this is now starting that if one of these teams here wins that lottery, they would jump into that first, or potentially move into that first pick, because now if they move up 10 slots, it will be into slot number 1. With the 11th pick in the 2024 PSHL 2 draft, this pick belongs to Columbus Blue Jackets. So the Blue Jackets retain that 11th pick in the 2024 draft. With the 10th pick in the 2024 PSHL 2 draft, this pick belongs to the Detroit Red Wings. So as you see, the Chicago Blackhawks, with one of those 3 lottery picks, have won one of those top 2 slots in the PSHL 2 draft. So congratulations to the Chicago Blackhawks. Red Wings are slotting into that 10th pick, dropping down from 9th to 10th. With the 9th pick in the 2024 PSHL 2 draft, this pick belongs to Calgary Flames. So the Calgary Flames, by result of Chicago jumping up into those top 2 picks, drop 1 slot from 8 to 9. With the 8th pick in the 2024 PSHL draft, this pick belongs to Philadelphia Flyers. So the Flyers drop from 7 to 8 in the 2024 PSHL draft. Sorry, I just got my dinner here. I want to take a look at it. Good stuff. Got some shrimp, got some Korean meat in there, some beef. Ooh, that was good. All right. With the 7th pick in the 2024 PSHL draft, this pick belongs to the San Jose Sharks. So as you can see, the Anaheim Ducks, my favorite team in the NHL, has won one of those top 2 slots. So it's either going to be the Chicago Blackhawks or the Anaheim Ducks with that first overall pick. So the Sharks drop from 5 to 7 in the 2024 PSHL 2 draft. So everything else is going to slide in as expected, with everyone dropping down 2 slots now, and Anaheim and Chicago will battle for those top 2 picks. So the Blues should slot in at 6th overall, dropping from 4 to 6. The Coyotes will drop in at 5, dropping from 3 to 5. Predators drop from the 2nd odds to the 4th slot. And unfortunately, Reese's Seattle Kraken dropped from the number 1 odds to get that number 1 pick to the number 3 slot. So now we will reveal who has the number 1 pick in the 2024 PSHL 2 draft. Whoever wins this number 1 pick, obviously the other team that doesn't slot in at number 1 will be slotting in at number 2. So good luck to the Anaheim Ducks and the Chicago Blackhawks. This Blackhawks pick is the pick from the Tampa Bay Lightning, which is interesting. I believe. This is their own. This is their own pick. My bad. I wrote these down on paper, but I wrote them in reverse order. So, however, Anaheim's pick is from the Detroit Red Wings. So, unfortunately for the Red Wings, they traded this pick away. So we will see who wins the number 1 pick in the 2024 PSHL 2 draft. This pick will belong to, well, I should have done number 1 first. I guess I couldn't. Chicago Blackhawks. So that means the Anaheim Ducks win the number 1 overall pick in the 2024 PSHL draft. So congratulations to those Anaheim Ducks. Already a strong team. Now they're going to add that number 1 overall pick. So congratulations to them. Again, this is the pick they acquired from the Red Wings, and it ends up being the number 1 overall pick in the draft. Once again, thank you everybody. I'm going to advance 1 day in game so we can get to the draft. You guys can start working on your lists. Even if you're going to be there at the draft, it's a good idea to create a draft list just as kind of a cheat sheet to go by. You also need to use that spreadsheet that I created and linked everybody to. You'll see picks live as they happen. You'll see who's taken and who's still available. If you're in PSHL, stay tuned. In a few minutes, we're going to have the 2034 free agent frenzy show. So that's going to be interesting. So stay tuned for that. Thank you again, everybody. Let's have a good season in PSHL 2. Thanks. Goodbye.